Coming up on the news leader, Tioga High School increases its Hall of Fame by 4 people, and a parent desegregation order calls for some major changes at 2 local high schools. 8 people are dead in Sarajevo after gunfire swept through a suburb. Plus sports and weather up next.
You're watching KALB-TV 5. Live from the news leader of Central Louisiana, the latest news, sports, and weather. This is the weekend edition of News Central 5.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Mitzi LaSalle. More details are being released about a partial desegregation order for the Rapides Parish school system. A KALB-TV source told us that a partial desegregation order is expected to be released during Monday evening's special school board meeting. Federal Judge Nauman Scott has jurisdiction over desegregation matters in the parish, and he is expected to present the partial order to the board in person during that meeting. The order reportedly indicates that Peabody Magnet High is expected to be converted to a vocational school, with Bolton High adding a scholars program. The Scholars Program, to be located in Bolton, will attract gifted students from all area high schools. According to the KALB-TV source, the partial order apparently has been in the works for some time. We'll have more on this story and live reports from the meeting tomorrow evening. 4 people who helped shape the schools of Tioga are sitting in the place of honor, or at least their pictures are, and their stories. Stephanie Hansen tells us about the remarkable group and all they did for their community.
They were all dedicated to education. The children of the community came first, and they always put them first.
They are the newest inductees to the Tioga Hall of Fame, all chosen by their community for everything they've done, especially when they created something out of almost nothing.
We really didn't have enough money to build the school as we wanted it. We planned at that time to build it in 3 phases, and this is the 3rd phase, the auditorium here. 2
of the 4 actually graduated from Tioga High School and came back to teach others. And at least one of Blanche Collins' students says she will never forget the lessons she learned.
Well, a few hands went up and a few didn't, and like all good teachers, Miss Collins called on one of the big boys that had not raised their hand. She calmly asked him to stand beside his desk after he stuttered and stammered and couldn't give her the correct answer. Afterwards, she walked over, placed the left hand on the shoulder at the nape of the neck, right hand at the belt buckles, and turned him upside down and said, "Now class, this is what invert is."
She always loved seeing her pupils wherever she went, and my only regret is that she wasn't here today, because this would be her ultimate, I think, in life.
The late Ray Stubblefield and Myrtle Malone were also honored for their work that organizers hope will inspire others to follow in their footsteps.
Let our younger generations that are coming through our schools and our community know the individuals who made all this possible for them today.
Stephanie Hansen, News Central 5.
The 4 new inductees will join the original 5 who were named when the auditorium was dedicated in 1993. For the families of servicemen missing from the Vietnam War, there are still many unanswered questions. Teams of search specialists, including Trina Relaford from Campty, Louisiana, went to Vietnam to find answers. Dave Coleman reports.
Left. And third. Fifth.
At this repatriation ceremony, the remains of 10 more Vietnam veterans have finally made it home. Over 2,000 others are still unaccounted for in Southeast Asia. Servicemen of the Joint Task Force Full Accounting and the Central Identification Lab Hawaii have teamed up with former enemies to uncover the secrets of past battles.
Joint Task Force is to make sure that service members are accounted for and that their family members are informed when recovery has been made.
Air Force Captain Glenn Lee was shot down over Southeast Asia. His body could not be recovered.
We just had a simple memorial service. No body. No physical evidence. And that was it. For 24 years plus.
The Joint Task Force and Central Identification Lab found and positively identified Captain Lee's remains so he could be laid to rest on American soil.
And I told my father that, look, they finally got his remains. He just broke down because he says, finally, I know. And we know that he died very quickly. He did not have to suffer.
I think it's an honor and a great privilege to serve with the Joint Task Force Fuller County. And I think if I was unaccounted for or missing, I would want my family members to know if my remains has been found.
For those still missing, the search continues. Their country has not forgotten. Reporting from Vietnam, I'm Dave Coleman.
Members of this joint task force say their job will not be complete until all missing servicemen are found. One lane of a Grant Parish bridge will be closed starting tomorrow. Those using the Pollock overpass should look out for workers during the next 2 days. Workers will be out there inspecting the bridge, so for people traveling on the overpass, set aside a few extra minutes for travel time. In our state roundup, Grand Isle's new school opens tomorrow, but students and faculty were given a sneak preview on Friday. Some smiled, some wept as they walked into the new $2.2 million building. It replaces the 80-year-old classrooms destroyed 2 years ago by a tornado. St. Landry Sheriff's Department expects more arrests in connection with a recently broken-up car theft ring. Cars stolen from Avoyelles and Rapides parishes were turning up stripped and burned in St. Landry Parish. 5 men were arrested last week and turned over to Avoyelles authorities. 4 more arrests are expected. Federal health authorities are considering a state recommendation that it remove a Shreveport hospital from the Medicare program. The state has been investigating complaints of unsafe medical practices and alleged patient abuse at Fairfield Hospital, which treats teens for drug abuse and psychological conditions. A decision is not expected until June. Well, there were no jackpot winners in the Powerball or Louisiana Lotto drawings. The Powerball prize goes to an estimated $28 million for Wednesday night's drawing, and nobody purchased a winning ticket in the state's big money lottery game. The jackpot for Saturday's Lotto now goes to at least $9.5 million. Still ahead on the News Leader, Stephanie Hansen will explain what type of weather conditions to expect, and we'll tell you about some gunfire that rang through Sarajevo today. Tonight's closed captioning is sponsored by KALB-TV and St. Francis Cabrini Hospital, your community hospital doing more. Rubber serves fired artillery into a suburb of Sarajevo today, killing at least 8 people and injuring 40 others. Bill Delaney has more.
More casualties of war in Sarajevo. 5 mortar shells hit early on a Sunday afternoon in a Bosnian government-controlled suburb near the city's airport. In a city used to mortar attacks, not to the deadly effectiveness of these. Makeshift ambulances tore through the city trying to save the injured. Among them, soldiers, civilians. Many apparently gathered to receive shipments of food Bosnians bring through a tunnel. Mortars fired from within the UN exclusion zone. A few hours later, more shells landed in Sarajevo's Old Town. The deadliest attacks on the city in over a year. When more than 60 died in an open-air market. Indignation then led to Sarajevo's declaration as a weapons exclusion zone, a UN safe area. It's not ever been safe, though, because most of the world said it should be. A point stressed after meetings with Sarajevo's diplomatic community by Bosnian Prime Minister Haris Selajić.
Their governments will have to decide to do something about Bosnia, or let us do something about Bosnia. Any other option is unfortunately a complicity in the crime.
As evening neared, as they do most days, NATO jets circled high, roaring over the city. A world away, far below, Sarajevo's anguish went on. In the hours after the attacks, UN Force Commander General Rupert Smith met with Bosnian government officials here in Sarajevo. No one, though, expects the UN, itself under pressure everywhere in Bosnia, to do what it could do, call for punitive NATO airstrikes. Bill Delaney, CNN, Sarajevo.
Well, Stephanie Hansen joins us. It was a little gloomy out there. Are we to expect some showers? Or?
Yeah, we've got some showers moving towards us. Still out over Texas, but we'll show you how soon they'll be in just a minute.
Okay, we'll be back.
You're watching KALB-TV, the news leader in Central Louisiana. Stay tuned for more news, the weather, and sports.
Very sultry evening out there, 75 degrees, cloudy skies, 90% humidity. Again, it is just absolutely humid outside. Winds out of the southeast, 6 miles an hour. Let's go ahead and take you to that satellite image. We'll watch those clouds as they continue over our state. And of course, we've got plenty of activity throughout the midsection of the country. Out towards the northeast, not a lot of activity at all. Nice clear skies out towards the west. Light cloud cover. But again, the real picture is through the midsection of the country. Look at these bright white clouds. That is where most of the activity is. That is where most of the activity has been over the past couple of days. And that is where they are having all the problems. Strong storms from Texas all the way up towards the northern portion of the country. Strong line of storms. You can pick out that frontal system. Heavy storms with high winds. Actually, they do have some tornado watches and severe thunderstorm watches in effect. Let's go ahead and put those boxes in all along this line, and it is heading towards us. We're really not expecting the strong stuff to move in our way until maybe late Monday afternoon. That's the good news. Right now, we just have a few light showers out there up towards north of Shreveport and heading up towards Arkansas. Not going to be a whole lot of problem for us. But why is this all going on right now? That's, well, the big reason is we've had plenty of moisture coming in off the Gulf for a whole week now. Plus we have these systems, a warm front towards the north of us, a cold front out towards the west, strong low pressure systems, the jet stream in place. You put all of these together and that definitely means that you get the severe weather activity. And we are going to continue to see this Gulf moisture continue to pound up through the state. And with all that moisture, all that energy, that's why we're seeing those strong thunderstorms, and we're expecting to see them continuing throughout Texas and maybe pushed in towards the northwestern portion of the state throughout this evening. Now, this frontal system has been slow to move, although as it does slowly come towards us, it is going to spark some more storms. Still out towards the west of us on Monday, maybe a few light showers starting to pick up. And then as we head towards Monday afternoon, that system pushes in, and as it pushes in, it brings some more storms. The good news is, though, out towards the west, clearing. The skies are going to be clearer behind the system, so once we get it to push all the way through, everything will start to clear out. But by Tuesday, we still have some clouds left over behind it. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the forecast. Overnight, cloudy skies. Low only dropping down to 73 degrees. Winds out of the southeast. 50% chance of scattered showers. Some of them could turn into thunderstorms. Waking up in the morning, we'll start out with a 50% chance of lighter shower activity. Towards evening, though, as the temperatures go up, our chance for stronger thunderstorms go up as well. That frontal system heads towards us. High of 83 degrees. Still a 50% chance of showers. Some could become strong. And then heading on towards Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday, still a chance of a few isolated thunderstorms. High of 85 degrees. Front moves through. No chance of rain by Wednesday or Thursday. Central reading was low from the overcast skies, and it will remain low for the next couple of days.
Okay, thanks a lot, Stephanie. Rapides Parish Sheriff's deputies need your help to solve 2 separate thefts of motorcycles that investigators believe may be connected. Captain Kenneth Herzog has details in this week's edition of Crime Stoppers.
Sheriff's detectives say someone came to this residence on Highway 107 in Pineville during the evening of February 26th. The burglar came to the side of the yard and found this black Honda motorcycle on a concrete slab. The owner was away from home at the time and says he is the only one with a key to the motorcycle. The suspect walked the motorcycle to the street where he started the bike and made his getaway. Another motorcycle was stolen from a residence on Highway 28 East in Pineville 1 week later on March 6th. Stolen in that theft was a red and white Yamaha YZ125 motorcycle. If you have any information about this theft, call Crime Stoppers at 443-STOP. Remember, you don't have to leave your name. A code number will be assigned to you. That's Crime Stoppers at 443-7867. I'm Captain Kenneth Herzog for Crime Stoppers.
And if you provide information leading to an arrest in either of these cases, you could be eligible for a reward of up to $1,000. How does sports look, Chris?
How's he look? Well, if you can find the LSU pitching staff, I'll give you $1,000 because they're not getting the job done. We'll talk about that in a few, but first let's go to the NBA playoff scoreboard.
Central Louisiana.
The LSU Tigers were in a must-win situation today if they hope to take over Auburn for the top seed in the SEC West. They trailed Auburn by 3 games going into today's contest, and right off the bat, things look pretty good. That's Nathan Dunn going downtown, took one out of Alex Box Stadium, a 3-run shot for him, and the Tigers were rolling. All they needed was a little D, call on Bolton Star, ex-Bolton Star Warren Morris. Watch him go get that one. The Tigers are on top of their game. This time it's Eddie Furness, another 3-run home run. That put the Tigers up late, but Auburn was down 2 with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. They rallied to score 3 and beat the Tigers 12-11, an absolute heartbreaker. As we look on the Demons, things were very different for them as they swept Texas San Antonio this weekend. The Southland Conference champions will take on Texas at Arlington Saturday at Shreveport in the Southland Conference tournament. The Aces roster is just about filled. They will go with 23 players this season, but manager Steven Clyburn is still waiting on his catcher. David Rolls, who was recently released by the Texas Rangers organization, was expected to say yay or nay this weekend to the Aces offer. And if the answer was nay, not to worry, folks, Clyburn feels he has the answer. Remember Aces outfielder Darren White? He could be the man.
Brad Arsnett, who is the catcher that I drafted out of Port Charlotte, is a very good-looking defensive catcher. A little weak with the bat, but we have Mr. Darren White, who caught for the Aces last year in the playoffs, and after talking to Alan Newman today, he said Darren did a fine job catching him last year in the playoff game, and he could be my ace in the hole.
On to basketball. This is the good stuff. Magic versus Larry? No. Chamberlain against Russell? I don't think so. This is the 90s. Michael versus Shaquille. He is human. Our Athlete of the Week award goes to a couple of local tennis champions.
Athlete of the Week, brought to you by Louisiana Physical Therapy Centers and Louisiana Sports Medicine Center at Cabrini.
Vasumo Party and Kathy Burkhalter took different routes in winning state titles. Vasu had to come from behind to win a marathon 3-set match and claim his state championship.
It was a 3-setter and it was a long match, but just played off emotion at the end. We had a lot of crowd support and everyone was there, so it really helped a lot.
Vasu's win also gave Ash the boys' team state championship.
We were up 10-9 with that last match, and if I had lost, it would have been a tie, and North Shore would have won the tiebreaker. So it meant even more for me to win that match for the team.
Kathy won her 2nd straight state championship despite playing with an injured right hand. She beat Courtney Olds in the finals in straight sets.
Yeah, I played better than last year than I played her. It was 6-4, 6-4 last year. Now it's 6-4, 6-1. So I think I did better than I did last year.
I'm Mark Hamblin, congratulating our co-athlete of the week winners, 2 tennis champions, Vasumo Party and Kathy Burkhalter.
And a special congratulations goes to the Oakdale mixed double champions, Nicole, Michelle, and Rhett Fitzgerald. Congratulations to them as well.
Thank you a lot, Chris. We'll be back in a moment.
If you have comments about this newscast, you can reach us on the internet, news@kalb.com. Or fax us at 442-7427, or phone us at 445-6397.
So, Stephanie, tell us about that wake-up weather.
Oh, it's going to be cloudy. It's going to be muggy. We'll start out at 73, make it all the way up into the 80s. Chance for some strong thunderstorms moving through.
Thanks a lot, Stephanie. If it's been a while since you've heard the lilting sounds of a waltz, you're in luck. The music department at Louisiana College will present a 5-piano recital to benefit the Turning Point Shelter and the Hope House on Tuesday, May 9th at 7:30. Organizers say all pianos will play together and also feature separate solos, and today these performers were getting their fingers warmed up. Tickets are $6 for adults and $3 for children. You can pick them up at Family Counseling, area music stores, Gus Kaplan, Wise and Goldring, or at the door. And this week's video journal takes us to a reenactment of the importance of not drinking and driving. This event was captured by Chief Videographer Roosevelt Johnson during an exercise at a local high school.
You must first find a phone and call the police.
Causing multiple facial
She was riding in the rear seat, not wearing her seatbelt.
Thanks for joining us, and stay tuned next week to News Central 5 for your daily news coverage 7 days a week. Have a good evening.